So, a homework assignment for our listeners is to start navigating things that you think your children can start doing on their own and really allowing you to pull back. Why should you, for a 10-year-old, be packing their bag for school? Why? Why not have them do it themselves? Or pack their ballet bag or their Kumon bag, or even packing their lunch and taking their stuff and putting it in the dishwasher. All of those skills, like you
Exactly.
said,
Yeah.
is building, also helping out at home. So,
Hmm.
chores.
Yeah. Having like chore charts, that's good too.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
important. It's really, really important. And one way to build confidence with the independence is if your child is older and can help their younger sibling, or
Mhm.
if your child is younger but knows how to do a skill better or easier than another child in your family that might be older, maybe they help them out. So
Yeah,
all of
definitely.
those things I
Yeah.
think are very helpful.
Think that another way to think about, self-help skills also has to do with problem solving, and that's actually our third one is promoting problem solving because not only is it about making decisions or offering them a choice or providing them with opportunities to help pack their lunch bag or clean up their room, but it also comes down to some of our kids, many of our kids have trouble with any form of communication, whether it's initiating, responding, having more of that self advocacy aspect, right? And so when we think about promoting problem solving, one thing that comes up is supporting your child and really finding solutions to challenges that they encounter because many times they might not always feel comfortable putting themselves out there. So it's not that they might not know some of those skills. I mean, some of our kids might need some examples of ways to find solutions, but for some our other kids, it could just be that they know, but they don't always feel comfortable. So for those that maybe don't know, like let's say your child comes home from school and maybe they're in 5th grade and they just had a fight with one of their friends, or they experienced a challenge. They were in like a small group in their class and they realized that their two buddies in their small group were talking about something and they didn't agree with that, right? Is trying to think about how do we promote that problem solving? How do we help our child figure out a way that they could feel more comfortable rather than us intervening, right? Rather than us just calling the teacher and saying, hey, you need to pair my child now with another peer because that's not working out. What if we help our child navigate it and we say, okay, what was it that made us really uncomfortable? What was it that we would like to say if we felt comfortable? And how can we navigate that? And maybe it starts with maybe either you going in with the teacher and your child. And so, again, you're kind of playing a part in that, you're still helping them. But it could also just be that, the child starts to recognize what those steps look like. Sometimes it could even be helpful to practice at home. So if you know that your child struggles with advocating for themselves or just building up that independence and going up, even non-verbally by handing over, a piece of paper, is practicing that, let's say, with a sibling or practicing it with one of you. And so they can start to navigate what that problem solving aspect looks like for them.
And I think in meeting them where they're at, I think about a child like, for example, you have a dentist appointment at 3 o'clock and school lets out at 3:30. So they have to figure out a way to let their teacher know I have to leave early. Do you as a parent contact the school, or is it possible your child hands in a note or writes an email if they're a little older? And sometimes you have to break that into steps. So, what we want to do is ask ourselves as parents, do I jump in and make these decisions and kind of do all that advocacy for them? Do I ever let them struggle at all? Because in order for them to learn these skills, we have to be okay that it's going to be a little uncomfortable at times. And it may be hard. So we're not abandoning them. We're saying, hey, let's do this together. So, for example, I had a child that needed to let their teacher know things. And this was like an older elementary, almost middle schooler at this point, and they weren't able to do it. So we had to start with how can they do it? Well, one, they did it where they had mom's email, they wrote it in so it was them, and then they sent it. The next time it was their email, and then they sent it. So we had to start that way because that allowed them to do it. But think about it, even like initiating non-verbally in that way, that's a skill. So here's that same parent contacting the Smart Center going, I need my child to talk. But meanwhile, self advocacy is really low. So, being able to stand up for themselves, being able to get a need met. So asking them, how would you solve that puzzle? How would you figure that out? Like they want to cook cookies, they want to make baked cookies for a family function. Are you going to give them the recipe or just make it and hand me this, hand me that? Are you going to say, hey, let's search out some chocolate chip cookie recipes and let me know what ingredients we need? Then we can use that as an exposure. They're motivated to go to a store. And whether they're initiating, hi, do you have, where is the brown sugar? Or where are the this or that? Maybe they need to finish the sentence. Maybe the mom needs to start and say, excuse me, miss, can you help us? Bobby, are we looking for this or that? And the child's goal is turn to the parent, tell them, and then they're on the bridge. Maybe they need to show the note. We have to meet them where they're at, but still challenge them. It's not a hand over takeover to your blue in the face. It's hand over takeover is a way to stimulate social engagement, which is the fuel to everything. I know I went off on a tangent, but what I'm trying to let our listeners know is it all works together. It's not as if
Exactly.
we're doing these things isolated. It's all, that's why the whole person approach is so friggin' critical, because it's
Yeah.
about understanding that child, what they can do and the challenges they have and why do they have those challenges and how can we
Mhm.
support parents to allow for this progress to occur. So
Exactly. And for some of our kids too, like again, always be thinking about maybe what are some of the whys for my child. Like for some of our kids that might have some more trouble with either speech and language challenges or they might have like processing challenges, it could even be you writing different choices on like a whiteboard and then they think through it and then they then allow themselves to go up to their teacher and they show that too. So it could actually be broken down into so many different pieces. So it's really individualized. We're just giving you some general tips.